light day and a darkness night. But it had nothing to do with the sun or a moon, which was created not until the fourth day, when these two great lights were popping off. You know what I'm saying? So the day, by default, can't have nothing to do with the sun and the moon in reality. But once that firmament is closed, then that's all you really got as a marker of so-called day and night. But remember, it starts with the evening, then the morning, because the day is being prepared for you while you are waiting for the sun to come back around to let you know that it's the day. The sun is just letting you know it's the day. The sunlight is not the true light of the day. The sun is just, ruling over this time period for a time period that you have a disconnection from the greater light by way of the firmament being created. But will you always need a firmament to disconnect you from the greater light? And was it about disconnecting you or the hijack that's popping around in the celestial trying to take over? Oh, I had to put a close to it, had to shut the case, had to shut the door, had to put a firmament up. I said, nah. You can rule over there, you can, do your thing, like Job, with this chapter 1, I believe, Satan walking to and fro. Hey, man, what you been up to? Hey, man, I've been jamming everybody up. Sorry I'm late to the meeting. What's going on with y'all? Yeah, he's giving a dominion while you're out of code in the firmament, but not outside the firmament. We're just talking days. Another great link from Abarim Publications I leave with you. Much more in-depth digging on this yam as well, man. It breaks down many variations for you to dig on, but, just letting you know that the Hebrew word for day is yam. But that also must mean that this Hebrew word must also connect to the light. If HaWah called the light day, and the Hebrew word for day is yam, then the yam of HaWah is the light that's created on the first day before the sun. In context, of course. So they're saying yam appears 1,400 times, okay? And without exception, this word, when written in a singular sense, means day, and that's it. Never anything else. Eons are indicated with the plural form, days, as in days of such and such. The most popular counter argument is that the word or meaning of our word is fiercely restricted to, quote, day for about 1,000 times in the subsequent scriptures, but in the secluded chapter of Genesis 1 means something completely different. But honestly, if in Genesis 1 our word should have meant long time, it would have said long time. Well, come on, man. We're just talking translations, man. No need to be coy about it. But there are words available in Hebrew that mean just that, none of which occur in Genesis 1. The word as used in Genesis 1 means day and day alone. There's no way around it in every serious theory to make systematic non-theological sense out of Genesis 1 should first and foremost address the yam problem. So you got a whole theory around this yam situation. And, of course, we're talking about days and light and greater light, but, really you're talking about an occurrence or a perimeter, they're about to say in Hebrew scripture, and all models derived thereof. Entities are reckoned solely after their behavior, not after their appearance. An entity is a behavior, not that which executes the behavior. Okay. To define something, the Hebrew language does not look at outer parameters, but also at the action that needs to be named. The time length of a yam is an outer parameter and not regarded in Hebrew. The time length of a yam, of a day, or of a let there be light, and God called that light day. HaWah is calling the light day. Okay. Some time and space are the four dimensions of space-time, or since time and space are the four dimensions of space-time, and we measure sizes in the spatial dimensions with a ruler. A clock is a ruler for time, an hour is a distance, just like a mile. A yom is not defined as something that is 24 hours long, but something that executes the action that defines a yom. Whoa. So when they say day, we're not necessarily just saying 24 hours, but something that executes the action that defines a yom or a light. Strictly spoken, a yom does not even have to be a length as long as it executes the typical behavior that defines it. What's the behavior? Light. Let's go. Wait, we just, we enjoy the victory lap. Let's go. All right? As long as it executes the typical behavior, right, that defines it. What's the definition of it? HaWah called the light day. Forcing a static 24-hour mode upon the word yom may appear quite pious, but flies flat in the face of the second commandment. We're talking about vanity. A yom, therefore, is a phase of a continuum, whether space, time, complexity, or anything else that consists of two periods, a dark part and a light part. During the dark part of a regular day, people sleep and are disconnected. During the light part, they communicate and work together. Any other manifestation of yom should display the same kind of darkness, elements not connected, and lightness, elements connected. So, like I said, they gonna get, deep into the water of this yom and the connection. Day, as in our modern language, the word yom denotes both the entire cycle of one day and the light segment of it. Again, we're talking about in cycles. So when does the cycle begin? Again, Genesis 1. We're just coming right out the script with this. The cycle begins what? And there was evening and there was morning one day. All right, so the cycle begins as soon as the sun has exhausted his energy. He's beginning a new cycle to come back to you. That new day is starting right there. You would call it night or you would call it evening because you don't see that new light coming back to you yet. But the day has begun. The occurrence has begun. The yom has already begun in the evening, which is why you close your gates out of respect for the light that is hitting you from the greater light that you don't even see yet, but it's being prepared to you by way of the portal, by way of the sun that's coming right back to you, starting in the evening, though, closing your gates. That's when your day is getting started, in the evening, my night. Sundown to sundown. The word yom denotes the entire cycle of one day and the light segment of it. Many wonder if in the Bible a day consists of a dark part first and then the light, or vice versa. But that's typical calendar thinking. Look at waves of the ocean. On the ocean, does the wave peak precede the wave through, or vice versa? Or is it all just one? Activities were conducted on the light part of the day, but in case of special days, Sabbath and feast, the jurisdiction of rules and regulations pertaining to that day commenced at the closure of the previous light part. So as soon as the sun has exhausted its energy. The previous light part, that's when it commenced. Regulations pertaining to that day, that new day, are now commencing. There's a cutoff from evening to evening. And once something commences, something else begins. A new day begins at the closure of the previous light, which is the day, because HaWah called the light day. Ooh, we just surfing the wave. We surfing the wave. Yeah, we're gonna get back on that mud dock. Man, love to the bro Dragon Child. I just had this up, you know what I mean? And, we're gonna connect so much of the Davidic Exarch family. Pastor John coming in hot. I'm just talking Israel. Alright, Israel the third. Israel the third connects back to Nehemiah, Theodoric, Sylvanus, Texas. A family war going on. Solomon the builder. The Ramani. The Pomegranatus, the Rimmon. Kalelus, which is the promised land. The Swanites. All this is you in America. Before any genealogy is going to connect, this is you. This is the land of Prester John. These are the Sylvanus royals, which are the David royals. Yeah. And this is the family of Israel the third. Israel the third in America, who is also known as Amerik. Put an A at the end, you got America. So you got America literally named after this Israel the third. He went south to the Toltec lands of Mexico, and his grandson, Makir Amerik. But this ain't the first Makir, and this ain't the first Amerik in the line of Israel in America. And then it says Merik in the Welsh. Wait a minute. Well, what would the Welsh have to do with the Toltecs if they aren't the same people? And what did my bro, Dragon Child, you see all this connects? I'm just talking about the Yam, right? The Yam, right? This occurrence, this light, the Ibaru light, the marginal version of Madoc's story identifies the Welsh as the Nephites of the Book of Mormon rather than the Hebrew. But what does the Welsh have to do with the Hebrew? We're now connecting. They don't expect us to have a document up called Forbidden Histories of America by Daniel Lowe. Page 70 of the PDF. Connecting Israel the third to the flow. Here we go. Here we go. I gotta get it bigger for my noggins in the back. I gotta get it bigger for my noggins in the back of the class. Because Israel the third has a grandson named Makir, or America, right? Who is also Marik in Welsh genealogies. So the Welsh and the Hebrew and the Toltec are all one thing. This Makir Amerik is Israel the third, or the grandson of Israel the third, which would make him in the line of these Israels, right? Israel the fifth, Israel the sixth. He is mixed Ko'otu of the Toltecs, grandfather of Tapuzim, who is the priest of Quetzalcoatl. And Dragon Child is saying that they're saying, some people are saying, that this Prince Madoc has also been identified with Quetzalcoatl. Maybe by white they mean pure, but they definitely don't mean no hijack city. Because this is Joshua, according to Gerald Massey in the Book of the Beginnings. Quetzalcoatl identified with Madonna.